welcome back to Consultant's Corner. I'm Rebecca Brizi. This is my corner. I'm still a consultant. We're taking a slightly different course today to talk about how to manage stress. Now, I've said before, I'm very much a person who works on the business and not on the person, but hey, we're all freelancers, we work on our own, and it's been a stressful year. It's worth taking a moment for this video to highlight the importance of listening to your brain and listening to your body. When you work on your own, there might be nobody there to tell you every now and then to take a break. You need to find a way to structure your day-to-day, your ongoing life, in a way that reduces the opportunity for stress and that allows you to deal with it effectively as and when it does come up. Let's look at some ways that you can work stress management, stress mitigation, I should say, into your daily life. The following are a series of ideas that I have heard from other people over time, the way that people talk about what they do to diminish stress in their life or just to feel more at peace or manage their brains and their days better. Which one of these do you use? And if you don't use any, which one do you think you want to start using? One very popular method is a gratitude list. I've heard a lot of really good things about this, and there's plenty of research behind it. If you are skeptical of this, there is scientific research to back up the benefits of gratitude. I've heard different specifics of how to do this, but simply, it is a question of sitting down every day and writing 3 things for which you are grateful. Do it first thing in the morning, do it last thing in the day. Is it 3 things? Is it 5 things? Those are the variations that I've heard. Pick what's right for you. I would say sit down first thing in the morning, write 3 things for which you are grateful. I like the idea of doing it first thing in the morning because it puts your head in the right place for the day. But perhaps you start the day fine and you end the day tired, and it actually helps you to end the day in peace and not carry any stress with you outside of work after you're done work. It's always a question of knowing what works for you. Once you start to look at it, we find that there's so many things that we can be thankful for. Little things, big things. There's no right or wrong. It's just if it made you smile, if it made you feel good, if it made a positive difference in your life, then be thankful for it. I don't specifically have a gratitude list, I should say, but I do like to keep a list of things that have delighted me throughout the week. And it'll be anything from, I went for a walk today and the temperature was perfect and it felt great. I made ice cream, it was delicious, now I get to eat it. Or I got a phone call from an unexpected friend I hadn't heard from in a long time. A gratitude list is fairly similar. It's something for which you are thankful. Dig, find, list the things that make you happy. Another popular one is exercise. Exercise makes a lot of people feel better because of what it actually does biologically to our bodies. But find an exercise that makes you happy. I love to walk, speed walk or hike. That makes me happy. But I also don't particularly like to work out, but I love how I feel after I've worked out. I will do my workout, not particularly enjoy it while I'm doing it, but I know that I'm working for the prize of afterwards. And sure enough, once I'm done, I feel terrific. Exercise is a good way to take a break, remove your brain from your work, focus your brain on something else, but move your body as well, which is only going to be good, right? We want to keep the blood flowing, we want to stay fresh, and we need to stretch our muscles every now and then. Exercise is another great way to reduce and mitigate stress opportunities. Exercise is not one single thing. Find what works for you. What is the physical movement that makes you feel better? And it could be taking your dog for a walk. It could be playing a game of tennis. It could be ultimate CrossFit something or other. It could be stretching. It's your life, it's your body. You find what works. Making lists. Making lists works for a lot of people, and I'll admit it works for me. Everything in my life is in lists. Or rather, if it's not in a list, it's not going to happen. For people who start to feel overwhelmed by life and by work, lists can really help. I heard somebody say recently, it's a big elephant, eat it one bite at a time. That's good advice. When we make a list of what we have to do or what's coming up, what we have to confront, it does make it more manageable. First of all, to have it all written down takes it out of our head and it really frees up that space. A lot of the problem of keeping a lot of information in our head is that then we get stressed out about remembering the information. So if it's out of our heads and it's on paper, then that removes one element of pressure of having to remember it. But also once it's on paper, it becomes easier to manage. In a list, you can start to understand how long something's going to take, what kind of an impact it would have. Parentheses, if having that list doesn't do that for you, then break down the list further. It means that what is on your list is still too big as a concept. You have to break it down into its steps. Close parentheses. It also allows you to move things around. Suddenly you see that list and you can say, this is actually really important, but because it's not as urgent, I hadn't been giving it the correct attention. Let me move it up. Once things are on a list, they're easier to manage, easier to understand. Ask yourself, so what? Does it matter? This is particularly helpful when you're not stressing out about things that you have to do, but you're stressing out about things that happened to you. Ask yourself, does this actually impact my life? Is this something that if I completely ignore is going to make any difference at all? Very often, It won't. So you can ignore it. Starting to go through this exercise of, does this really matter? One way to determine that is to talk about it out loud. Talk it to yourself in third person. Start the conversation as the other person, right? If somebody was talking to you about this thing, what would you say? Hey, Rebecca, I know you're embarrassed about that thing that happened, but I don't know why. I mean, what difference is it going to make? How does it impact your life? Does it mean you can't work anymore? Does it mean you can't live anymore? Does it mean you can't do anything anymore? Talk to yourself in third person as if you were serving yourself, as if you were the friend helping yourself out. It does make it easier to take that slight distance, and generally it helps us put things in perspective and understand that so many of the things that we carry with us, they might be annoying, they might have been embarrassing, they might have been a lot of things, but they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Call somebody who makes you smile. Don't forget to reach out to your friends. It can be the person with whom you can share all your problems and lament, but it might be somebody with whom you don't even have that deep a friendship, but they make you laugh. Call somebody who puts a smile on your face. It's always going to make a difference. And one last tip, have a sleep schedule. The routine of sleep for your body is tremendously important. And again, this is not my area of expertise at all, but there's a lot of research out there. It does allow your body and your brain to know what to expect. And it can also make sure that you're getting all the rest that you need. I highlight this again, I know that's not business, but it is particularly important to me. I suffer migraines quite severely at times, and managing a regular sleep routine can make a significant difference in the frequency and impact of those migraines. So it's something that has come to be of great importance to me, making sure that I do get the right amount of sleep, trying to maintain the same sleeping hours every single night. This is something that can really make a significant difference in my day-to-day life. But what I've learned in looking at this and learning about it as a complete layperson is that there's so many things and functions in our body that are so directly affected by regular sleep patterns or lack thereof. If you don't have a regular sleep pattern, it might be something to consider trying for a month or so. It might take some time to adapt to at first, so make sure you're giving it the right amount of time to first adapt your habits and then let your body get used to it and learn to rely on it. Now, as I said, I am not suggesting that you do everything I just mentioned. I'm not even suggesting you do any of the things I just mentioned, but these are ideas for helping to manage your stress, to mitigate the impact that that can have, and in fact, prevent it from coming up and becoming a problem. If you have found yourself feeling overwhelmed, feeling bothered, having difficulty working, having difficulty sleeping, not being able to get things done, getting frustrated with people. This is just a starter list of things you can try, things you can consider, things you can dismiss completely if you want to. But don't forget to listen to your brain and listen to your body. We have to do this. Our health matters more than most other things, because if we don't have our health, we can't perform on all our responsibilities towards our clients, towards our family, towards our friends. Take some time for you. Take some time to understand what your body and your brain need to function at their best all the time. What do you use to mitigate stress, or what do you use to minimize pressures and really handle day-to-day life the best way possible? Let me know in the comments section below other tips and ideas. I'm sure there are hundreds out there, and this list is merely that teeny little part of the iceberg that I can see, but you're all seeing different parts of it. So share those tips. This stuff is useful for freelancers. And if you're anything like me, you want something that you can work into your day-to-day life that doesn't become a burden, an additional burden just to manage the stress. That makes things more stressful. It's about simplicity and it's about seamlessness. And I, of course, will see you at the next video. Bye now.
So what?